welcome back. We're going to focus on Facebook images and how we're going to select them and then find which of those are the most effective at producing a ROI that's positive for us. So whenever we build out a campaign, we want to first focus on the pain point and the audience that we're going to build for, and then we want to use images, whether we have a graphic artist or we use some stock photos or any other way that you're going to generate these images. How are we going to use them in order to build an effective ad campaign? And then how do we, from the multiple images, say we have 4 of them or 6, and how do we take those 4 or 6 and find the best one? And it's all about finding the best one based on looking at the returns that we get from our audience. So, Dave, I'll let you take it from here.
Oh, sure. Okay, so here's a bunch of campaigns that we've done, and we've done a lot of split tests on the images. So I'll just go through them. Here is a current one that I got going on, some current campaigns. This one, these are the 2 winners for a solid campaign that we have. Now, I sell a course on how I sell $20,000 a month on eBay. And in this one here, we found the 2 winners were, one, a bunch of these cell phones right here, because the course is on how to make money flipping phones on eBay. So these turned out to be a winner, these cell phones. And then another one of me at Ty Lopez's mansion was the other winner. For some reason, every test we did, these 2 pictures came up as the ones with the best opt-in rate. Jay, do you have any input on why those 2 may have done better than some other ones? We'll go over some fail images like that didn't do too well, which were, I think, under this campaign. Let's check it out.
When we ran the campaigns, I think we used 12 to 15 different images to begin with. And a lot of what we use the cell phones, pictures of you in front of, your banners, holding cash, the funny image that we had, that you're holding the money out in your hand. I mean, we used a lot of different variations here. And then it just always kept leading back to the same thing, that the picture of you at Ty Lopez's mansion was the one that always produced. And I think we were getting a lead, a CPA of like 230, 250, something like that. And, yeah.
Picture of me at my balcony in my house. Mm-hmm. We tried using that. I thought maybe, but 2 leads. It actually wasn't too bad here, $2.64 lead. But that was the only one out of all of these pictures that ended up winning. There was this picture of me holding up the sign, which I thought was kind of cool, as this cash for phones and iPhone up there. That was a failure. Didn't do good. Right. And I think the images, I think the images got to catch your eye, right, JD? Is that
yes.
what you're looking for when you're doing Facebook images?
Well, and one of the biggest things that I kind of always go back to is that really don't fall in love with any one thing, any one tagline or anything. You like, wow, that's really catchy, me, clever of me to come up with this, or an image or anything like that, because it's not what we think that works, it's what our audience tells us that works. And all that we can do is take multiple ones and keep putting them out there and finding which one of those works. And I would say that most times when you produce, let's say, a campaign with, say, 6 images that you rotate through, you'll find that one image out of the 6 that's going to produce pretty decent KPI results.
But yes, like I had hand selected these as some images I thought were cool. This was me hanging out in Myrtle Beach, the palm trees and stuff. Total bomb, did horrible. This was another one. I had people come to my store, and they were at a cell phone repair boot camp I did. Pretty cool picture, but it's totally bombed. Yep, it was no good for Facebook ads. Let me see if there's another one here. I think that's it for those pictures. And every time we tested, it was still those pictures of the phones and the picture of me at Ty Lopez's mansion that always seemed to win. Let me see if there's any other pictures on any of these campaigns here.
Well, one thing I want to point out real quick, based on the ad text that we used to have that I remember, it was about your story. And I think that for images that it's not just you, I think that, it takes away from your story like this. I mean, once again, I think that, we've covered this a little bit in detail of why this image probably didn't work well. And it's a little bit...
actually got great opt-in rates. I mean, this picture actually did perform really well, but I think it's too hyped and had it been edited a little bit differently and like learn how I sell or get my free ebook or something like that, and then had the same picture, I think it would have probably done well. So, it's a sharp picture and it looks nice, but the copy is what made it too hypey.
Yeah, and I mean, yeah, I mean, certainly, yeah. And I mean, once again, for the campaign that we were running with the ad techs, they had your story that wasn't hypey, that was more down to earth, explaining, relating. And then the picture of you at Ty Lopez's mansion tying into like, hey, I made it, because a lot of people probably don't know that, whose that house that is, etc.
Yeah.
And they're going to be just thinking, wow, look what he has, and that gets them interested. Nonetheless, it works with, and certainly when it works, don't stop it. You can look to improve on it, and that's where you need to dive deep into like copy and other things. And yeah, you can probably come up with maybe other ad campaigns with other images, or maybe even come up with different messages that you can tie into those images that would actually work. But for this instance, obviously the one that you had with that worked best. And then, you really took a lot of what and I don't think we ever used a picture with you with the Lambo, but
this actually did do very well. This and the other one with me and my wife actually performed very well, but it got unapproved because of the hypey copy with it, So flashy pictures do seem to do well, though. Something that shows luxury, houses, cars, they do seem to be top performers, I think, based on our experience. Now, here's one with my eBay screenshots that I thought would be okay, but it was total junk. We didn't get anything with it. Shows, doing proof right there. I'm doing 20,000 a month on eBay, but I don't think it catches your eye, so that's why it didn't perform well, because it's too hard to read. What do you think, JD?
I mean, there's all, with everything that we do here, everything's a maybe, because to say what works, what doesn't, you have to test it. And I mean, without going in and taking that element out, it's hard to say. But that's what I would do. I would take it and I would test that, and I would say, that's a good theory. Hey, did this cause a reduction, and then how can I improve upon it? And certainly, I think we've done that with a lot of things that we've done here, right?
Yeah. I think that's most of them. We have some retargeting here, but I don't know what we use for retargeting for the pictures.
And this kind of, and this is a good point to make, that, again, don't fall in love with anything. Not any one creative is going to work. And I can tell you about countless campaigns I put together I thought was the most crafty thing ever, and it just didn't work. It didn't resonate. So you have to focus on what resonates and what doesn't. And when you do, and then, obviously using images that focus on the same thing, it can help with that. So, I mean, and it's a process. I mean, I would say that, to be effective, you really want to test, 30, 40, 50 images, every time that not every time that you produce a campaign, because that would be just crazy doing, but you can divide them up where let's say you produce 3 campaigns with the same headline and ad text and links and all that other stuff, and the only thing that you change out is the images. What I would do, let's say we had 20 images, okay? I would take and I would put 4 images to test per campaign, and I would have 5 of them. And then I would see, hey, once I optimize down for the best images, which of those campaigns, out of those 20 images total, which of those work best? And then that's when I'm going to dial in and I'm going to run for that campaign. And obviously, the more that you can spread around your ad budget, the more that you can put more ads out there, the more testing you get, the better you're going to be able to be. So it's really important to do. And I mean, there's really no limit on how much testing you can do with images or, even headlines. I mean, you have to draw the line in the sand somewhere. You say, hey, I'm getting a 50% conversion rate, 58% conversion rate, whatever. I'm good enough. Let's focus on, increasing my sales conversion ratio or my webinar registration ratios or some other aspect of our sales funnel.
Okay, sounds good. So I think that gives a pretty good idea of the images to pick or how to go about that.
Yep.
Right?
Absolutely. That'll end this tutorial on video or images, not videos, images selection and optimization for effective Facebook ad campaigns.